shown, not only here but all the stay time here in Manuu, in Maulana Azad University. It remains very, very memorable in my life, and particularly my staff. We work like a family and saw that there is a responsibility towards the community's social exclusion and inclusion problems. And whatever research we did in order to see that the life of Muslim community of all these states. In fact, there are MPhil degrees, dissertations from almost all the states, Kashmir to Bengal to Bihar to all over. We saw that our students do work, and much more will be done. I never knew that there was this university called Manuu, though I heard that one Urdu university was established because Sulaiman Siddiqui, a colleague of mine, came as a registrar here. But suddenly, one day in 2010, when I was teaching in Secunderabad College, I was about to retire there in Osmania. 1.5 years later, there was a call. And later called me and said that you are I was planning for something else actually after my retirement, but okay, I had a deeper friendly understanding with the Muslim community for quite a long time, because during my civil liberties days, during communal rights, we had an organization called Hyderabad Ekta, and we used to virtually live in the old city to defend Muslims in horrible 86, 87 riots and so on. So I thought this is an occasion to do something for them and also learn. And after almost 7 years, 6 years, 10 months or so, I'm going from this university with a great satisfaction and lot of learning. Much more satisfaction than when I was leaving Osmania, because I had a lot of struggle to keep myself in the position that I was supposed to be. Now, one of the things, apart from research, I was not well educated about the Islamic history, the Muslim countries, the kind of changes that the Islamic thought and ideology and religion brought in the whole world. But quite accidentally, that was the time when Arab Spring also started. When I just joined, Arab Spring started. And that was a great hopeful time for the whole world, that if Arab world gets into democratic frame, perhaps the whole world will be entirely different. So I used to read almost on everyday basis, both in the office, outside, in my travels and so on, and then I wrote 2-3 pieces on that also. And then I read Prophet Muhammad's life during this period. I read quite a lot of, not as all of you know, but I read Quran. Earlier I read quite a bit of Hindu history. When I did my PhD, I had to do a lot of reading on ancient India, the Sanskritic history background, and then the Buddhist history. Later on, I read quite a bit about Christian world. In fact, that was one of the major enlightening things from BA level onward. So today, my knowledge of four religions, and including Hinduism, if not a fully rounded one, but I am in a position to handle the kind of complex problems that journalists pose about Islam, about Christianity, about Buddhism, Hinduism, and so on. And I had excellent colleagues. I used to discuss about women's question. Sometimes I used to be troubled, but having worked with 2 women colleagues, Mausina and Farida, and also a number of other friends here, Salma and other academic women friends. I learned a lot about Muslim women and their focus of life, their internal satisfaction and the needs toward change. So today, the Muslims of India are at a crossroad, there is no doubt about it. And every day there is a fearsome situation. But more than Muslims, what many of you did not understand is that the tribals, the Dalits, and the backward classes are in much more deeper problems. So I was carving out a plan to what to do. Never had an opinion to take up any other job, but to seriously write. But as I was going out, the forces that don't want any change gave me an agenda. And my rest of life, I will work around that. What is this agenda? Yes, as all of you said, I wrote what I wrote. I came from where I came from. And one of my passionate things about women was started with my mother. She was illiterate. But when I finished my 5th class along with my brother, there was no 6th class in the village, and in the nearby feudal village, there was a government school with 6th class. The feudal landlord was very, very ferocious kind of a landlord, but she took me and my brother to that landlord and literally put us on his feet and said, in Telugu, Ayya, sir, these are my 2 beggars and I want them admission in the school. Well, that landlord looked at both of us. We had the smallpox, kids who were about to die, but some were survived. He wrote a slip and we got the admission. From there I went to small high school. I taught the school in 1971. So the question is that my mother was my heroine, and she was beaten to death in a couple with the police patel of the village, his relatives, when I was in 9th class. She was beaten very badly on the back. She took an injection from a quack and it resulted in septic. When I was in 9th class, both me and my brother, my sisters were very small. They just got married at the age of 11 or so. She died in the very night with the tetanus. Now, I developed a fascination for women's courage. I've seen that in my life, in many women, in the women's movement, and then I've seen that such courageous life in Muslim women here too. So today, when I am leaving this university, I want to tell you what the future of you and me and the other people there. Whether what happens in 1919 is not just one thing. There is a ruling class in this country, which is a combination of two top castes. They have set an agenda of nationalism. The world knew that that agenda of nationalism horrified Muslims. Semi-horrified Christians. I know that, I have a lot of Christian friends. But what is not known is, it really did not, even does not treat the Dalits, tribals, backward classes as human beings. They don't exist in that nationalism at all. And I fought for them in the universities, in the newspapers, in the TV channels, both English and regional. But the forces sitting there have no. See, either human being, I've seen among Muslims, what rules the Muslim world is Allah, God, more than the state. If state rules you don't fast for 40 days, for 1 month, no state can make you fast. It is God that makes you to fast. But here are ruling castes, they are neither afraid of God, nor have any human value. I know a number of non-believers. Their moral is humane. They don't believe in God. That's how even communist countries, a country like China, which does not go to temples, 60% of them builds a nation of honesty. Now, what is this community? This community, these two top ruling castes, not just as individuals, but as a collective, do not treat human beings as human. They treated 200 million people as untouchables for long. And they made them untouchable. They treated producers of the food as mlechas, as shudras. And their food culture is treated even now as dirt. And they have developed their own food culture. I have no problem if somebody develops their own food culture. But look, the Muslim youth must realize this nation's history started with a cattle rearer called Harappa. Way back in 4,000, about 940, 50 years. Then that under his leadership, built the Harappa city in present Pakistan. Now, when I am saying that he was a man living, built that city as the ruler. I don't know how many of you know the King David, who built a great city at the command of God in Israel, great temple and great city. And what was there in that city? That city had highly civilized modern structures. There was carpentry, there was pot making, there was canal system, and there were the rich and the poor. And nearby, after some time, there was another city built by another man called Mohenjo-daro. Similar development. Then the last city, which is in Gujarat today, was built by Dholavira. This name Veera is very popular among us now. Now Harappa, I discovered that it is a man's name because the shepherd community's god in this whole South India is Birappa. And they settled on Krishna basin. And the civilization in the south is built. And all our gods, images in the villages, for example, this name Ilaiah came from such shepherd community. So the Aryans came and destroyed all those things, burned them mercilessly. And that history was never written. The history was completely. That's the reason why there is a chapter in my post in India called Intellectual Gundas. You know what is the difference between a street gunda and an intellectual gunda? A street gunda kills one individual and gets arrested, and then either goes to jail or doesn't go if he manages. But an intellectual gunda kills the whole history. That's the difference. So, after that, the real human civilization was built by Gautam Buddha in this country, and before you became Muslims. But in my view, you are part of that heritage, and we were Dravidians, never Aryans. Now, yesterday, SIO students came to me. One was dark, with a beard like a buffalo, and the face was shining. Another was very red, like a Pathan. I said, you must be a Pathan. He said, could be. Like Shah Rukh Khan said, I am a Pathan. But Shah Rukh Khan is not that white also. I don't know how he said. So he said, he is a Dravidian, but you must accept this Dravidian superiority to your Pathanship. He said, sir, I will accept because you are telling me. Because buffalo is superior to cow. Because this buffalo was domesticated by Harappa people. There was no cow in India at that time. Now, unless you know this history, you can't defeat these forces. These living human cows. There are human cows all over. So, you must own that history before you became Muslim. If you don't own that nationalism, there is a problem. Now, what is the issue today? In the last 1 month battle, we have discovered staggering statistics of Indian economy. 46% of the whole Indian industrial economy is owned by one Banya community. 46%. 44.6% is owned by Brahmin community. These are board of directors. The whole Shudras, Reddis, Jats, Patels, Kammas, everybody together 3.8. All OBCs, Dalits and tribals 3.5. You know, I was looking at where are the Muslims in this. Where are the Parsis? Where are? And they are controlling 1.5% of Indian industrial assets, including Parsis. Now that could also include your software, the Bangalore, Premji and so on, 1.5%. Now the question is, you are not getting jobs there, I can see that. But the whole production of the nation, the source of production is agrarian artisanal production, whether it is Muslim or non-Muslim. Lands have to be brought into irrigation and then they have to be killed. Cattle have to be reared. Artisanal work has to go on. Fish has to be caught. Animals have to be brought in. All that was being done by only Shudras, OBCs and Adivasis. And in certain pockets, Muslims. There are Muslim fisher people. You know, I don't know, there is one god in now Hindu is called Siddhi Sai Baba. Did you ever look at his figure? He looks like absolute Muslim with a topi and lungi, and he is now projected as a Hindu god. His father was a Muslim, his mother was a fisherman. Nearby, very recent times. So Muslims are also fishermen, Muslims are also tillers, Muslims are also, if you look at Bangladesh economy, entirely done by Muslims. Now, for a nation, production is the key to survive as a nation. And to remain as a nation, protection is number 2, the army. And I looked at the history of army, quite surprisingly, there was no Brahmin regiment, there was no Banya regiment. There was Maha regiment, Ambedkar's father was a soldier. No other leader's father was a soldier. Gandhi, you read Gandhi's autobiography, he says Gandhis are Banyas of grocer selling, and they became Kathiawad ministers. But then nobody was a soldier. There was Maha regiment, Ahir regiment is Yadava regiment, Jat regiment, Gurkha regiment, other regiments. But the top people who are controlling industry, education, everything, and producing nationalism theory against the people who are producing are not there. And in the battle with this Banya community, I asked, how many of your children are in the basic army today fighting China or Pakistan? They said, we don't join the army. Then I said, you are not nationalists. You are neither in the production. So my battle will be on 3 fronts. These people got into English education by putting it in the private sector and occupied the whole space. Universities, IIMs, IITs, and then management boards. Make SC/ST, OBCs English speaking, the whole of them, within the next 30-40 years, and within next 100 years, English will have to become their mother tongue. And then these people cannot sit on the boards. Once they are English speaking, because I know what is their merit problem. These are the theoreticians of merit. The merit is nothing except some English taught by the Christian colleges. In fact, in recent times, I told the bishops of Catholics who run the best colleges, close down your English colleges. You have not taught us. You taught only those rich, upper caste. If you close down your colleges, open the schools in the villages, we will see what happens. This is number 1. Number 2, reservation in private sector. If the SC/ST, OBCs get reservation in private sector, see why they are opposing their own people to come in, their power structure and wealth while describing them as Hindus, leave alone Muslims and others. They treat them as dirt when it comes to job. Nobody. All the universities, they never recruited people till today. They reserved posts and so on. So, I will be working around universities. If the SC, ST, OBC posts are not filled in the universities, we will declare all selection committees anti-national. Why will do this? Your own people, what are the criteria of selection? They should have basic degree, basic qualification. So I will tell all my students across the country that every selection committee has to fill up the posts once there are available candidates. So Manuu is an exception, Urdu and all that, but the basic structures are there, IIM. Now, what about the army? Yes, this nation belongs to all of us. We don't have to listen about nationalism from those who neither produce, who nor love people, and tell that they are nationalists but not we. They were trying to drag me into Pakistan discussion, Kashmir discussion. I said I will not come. My agenda is much more bigger here. Now, what I expect from Muslim intellectuals, I was telling Afroz and others who write, you support SC, ST, OBC caste for next 25 years. Even if you don't speak much about Muslim caste, nobody can harm you thereafter. Because we will be the biggest fortress around you. Secondly, yes, our people are in the army. Today in Sikkim border, SC, ST, OBCs are basic soldiers. I was asking the industry, I will withdraw my book, the Telugu booklet, not the whole of Post Hindu Indian. But 1% of your profit is 30,000 crores. 1%. Give that to farmers who are dying. And give one soldier's brother or sister one job in private sector. One constable who is standing. They are not willing. Do you think that they have love towards us? The Ambanis, Adanis, the Lakshmi Mittals, the Vedantas. No. They hate SC, ST, OBCs more. For some time they loved you because you were rulers. Now you are portrayed as anti-national every time. So this basic structure has to be changed. And Muslim cause will be more safe if the SC, ST, OBCs with the roots of Dravidian history comes back into the syllabus. That's the key. So all of you young students, go to YouTubes and just click the history of Harappa, the history of Dholavira. You will listen in English lectures. Most of it was done by Westerners. The beautiful narratives that how the Dravidians really established those cities. You own it and you support the SC, ST cause. Once the power structures are changed, your insecurity will go. Once buffalo becomes national animal, cow will not threaten it. That's a very simple. See, I don't believe in complicating theories. Theories have to be straight. Yours is cow, mine is buffalo. If you love cow, don't drink my buffalo. Then your children will starve. Cow is not giving much milk. There is no cow milk. And after their cow bans, there is no milk at all from cows because nobody is grazing cows. So those who don't graze cows, they are lovers of cows. You know what is our slogan? Protect, not cow protection, cow grazing. You go and graze. Cow protect, किसका cow को protect कर रहे हैं आप तो graze नहीं कर रहे हैं ना सन्यासी वन्यासी पूरा क्या कर रहे हैं जाके हिमालय में lakhs of cows graze करो वर्षित करो हमको कुछ problem नहीं but हमारा cow तो protect करने वाला कोई नहीं है. I am going to tell every farmer they are nobody to bring a law to protect your cow. That will be my duty from tomorrow. So I'm really happy. We will change the market structure. I have already told the rural people, be ready. Every market farmers have to sit along with the buyers and then discuss the price structure before the crop comes. We will not wait for the government. And our people are seriously thinking on these lines. So I want the Muslim youth be in solidarity with the SC/ST OBCs who are untouchables, who are being lynched everywhere, like the Muslim youth. But that is the basic mass that can really, once comes up, can protect you much better. There is no other form. Your leaders won't protect you, our leaders also don't protect us. It is the intellectuals who protect and change, not the leaders. I keep telling all these people, they were saying, we will kill you, kill you, kill you. I said, look, what are you talking? French Revolution was brought about by one thinker called Voltaire. He gave a slogan, liberty, equality, fraternity, through his writings. And he was almost underground every time because the kingship did not allow him to. But his books became popular. Suddenly the king saw that he was killed and buried somewhere else. And the people searched for his dead body. And fortunately in the Christian culture there is no practice of burning dead bodies. They buried. They at least respected that practice. And the day when the skeleton was brought out and his body was brought to Paris, millions came into the streets. And that night they walked into the fortress of the king and the king was hanged. He was killed. That was French Revolution. So intellectual is much more stronger than thousands of rulers. That is the pen that you have. And I am not afraid of these guys. I am not afraid of death. You know, I was when Karuna read that poem. See, when human value is with you, you are working for truth. Truth will win and the untruth will be defeated at any time. So this is our resolve. I will be coming here whenever my colleagues want, and ours is a private conversation. I was never comfortable with any authority, I am telling you. Even the authorities who invited me, I was not I hardly used to go there. Because once Digvijay Singh asked me, why don't you become Vice Chancellor of Sam Central University? When they were in power in the first period. I said, we know each other very well. In his guest house, I said, sir, this hand can still write books and articles. This hand is not lazy to write files. And he said, what Kancha, what are you talking? Everybody is after me to get some Vice Chancellorship. This hand is not like that because I am a shepherd. Shepherd has greater cause than a Vice Chancellor. Thank you very much.